A few miles north, just off the A9, is the village of Braco. In the 2nd century AD, the Roman governor of Britain, General Julius Agricola, was determined to conquer the Scottish Highlands, and realised the key to this wild and remote part of the British Isles was to control the glens, which naturally funnelled travellers into the more open ground. He built a line of forts along the edge of the Highlands at strategically important sites like the Highland passes of Callander and Comrie, and a large headquarters at Ardoch, reckoned to be the finest Roman fort in Britain. But for all their numerical and tactical superiority, this was the one part of the British Isles they could not conquer. The Caledonian tribes constantly harassed the Roman forts, using hit-and-run tactics, and despite the massive defeat at Mons Graupius, eventually wore them down. Ardoch was abandoned in 163 AD, and has never really enjoyed the recognition it deserves. A few miles to the north is Dunning, which looks like a sleepy and perhaps typical Perthshire lowland village, with the Highlands rising up as a backcloth. But this was once an important crossroads, as 6 roads from every direction converged here. The village had 13 alehouses and was bustling with coach traffic, drovers and travellers. This ancient settlement has the legend of a dragon being slain by St Serf, armed only with a staff. The saint built a cell or chapel in Dunning in the 5th century. The ancient village kirk bears his name and contains 2 of the oldest standing gravestones in the country, dating from 1623 and 1624. The established view of church graveyards dates from this period. Indeed, the earliest headstones found in England date from 1640. Prior to this, the gentry were buried within the kirk and poorer people in unmarked graves in the churchyard. The 75-foot Romanesque kirk tower dates from 1200, and now to be housed here is the Dupplin Cross, a 9th century Pictish monument, once removed from nearby Bankhead Farm, exhibited in Edinburgh and returned after much local pressure. Nearby is the model village of Fort Teviot, built by the first Baron Fort Teviot of Dupplin of the Dewar whisky family as an experiment in rural regeneration after the Great War. This tiny, neat village, perhaps ironically with an English garden city feel, was once the capital of Scotland, when King Kenneth MacAlpin became the first monarch of a united kingdom in 843 AD, and made his residence and capital at this already established Pictish settlement, building a royal palace and monastery where the waters of May meet those of the Erne. All evidence has been washed away by those waters over the centuries, although an elaborately decorated arch was found in the gravel riverbed last century and is now housed in the National Museum of Scotland, which, along with the Dupplin Cross, is one of the few physical objects to testify to the importance of this area. Kenneth I died here in 858. In 965, the Battle of Duncrub was fought for royal succession, and also nearby was the Battle of Dupplin in 1332, in which the regent was killed and the Scottish throne lost for a period. Leave Dunning by the Gleneagles Road and you pass a slightly sinister monument of rough stone with a pillar topped with a cross. It's freshly painted every year, but no one knows by whom, and bears the date 1657 and the name Maggie Walls, a witch burned to death. Indeed, 6 others were so killed in the village some 6 years later. The road reaches Gleneagles, and you follow this ancient route through the Ochils to Glendevon and on to Loch Leven and the Lomond Hills. Gleneagles, Glen of the Churches, and not Eagles as you may suppose, has been the home for centuries of the Haldane family. The world-famous hotel and golf course of the same name can be seen in the distance. Gleneagles leads to Glendevon, known as the Secret Glen. This was a drover's road connecting the markets of Crieff and Falkirk.